So today I have for you 3 extremely beautiful and very large and durable DIYs that are going to go right on my front porch for fall. Let's get started. I'm going to start by taking this paneling. It came out of the hardware store in the scrap wood area. It's, I don't know how long it is. It was already this size. So I'm going to take it and I am going to cut it into 2 pieces, one larger than the other one, so that I can make 2 large pumpkins for my front porch. I'm using my miter saw, and like I said, I'm just going to cut it. And then I am going to cut 2 angled cuts in each corner on the top portion. This is going to give it just a little bit more of that pumpkin look, I guess, if it even looks like a pumpkin. But anyways, once I have them cut, I am going to bring them inside. I'm just going to sand down and smooth down all the edges. And now I'm going to start painting it. I'm just going to do 1 coat. The larger one is going to be in these moss green by Waverly chalk paint, and then the smaller one is going to be Rust-Oleum. No, did I think I used a regular household paint for that one. I did. And that way, because it's going to be outdoors, so I want it to be a little bit more durable, the paint. The chalk paint one, the green one, I did have to spray paint with a top coat. I just used one of those spray paint top coats in the clear from Rust-Oleum, just to kind of keep the paint there, even in the elements if it gets a little bit wet. So now I'm going to sand down the edges just to distress them a little bit. And I'm also going to use some antiquing wax by Waverly, and I'm just going to dab it with a chippy brush. This is just to add a little bit of dimension, but also antique it, just make it look like a little bit older, like they've been around for a while. And I'm also going to use the antiquing wax and just to create those lines, long lines, kind of circular in the middle, just to mimic a pumpkin. And then for the green one, I'm going to use some white paint as well as the antiquing wax and do the same thing to the other one, just so that they match each other. I'm going to head outside and just try to find a piece of driftwood or just firewood that may fit the size that I need, because I want to create stems for my pumpkins, but I want them to look a little bit more on the rustic side. Alright, so as you saw, I found this one. I think it's going to work. It's actually kind of light, which is perfect to attach it. And I'm going to cut it in half, maybe one side just a bit longer for the longer pumpkin, and attach them. Once I had them cut the way I wanted them, I am going to use some painter sticks here, and I'm going to start attaching them. I'm not going to lie, I had a hard time getting these attached because they're very light wood, and not the painter sticks, but the actual stem, and they were not sticking. I used brad nails, I used staples. There was just not enough depth and substance to the piece of wood, so I ended up having to make something up. So I ended up just trying to use some wire and drilling some holes and just trying my very best to make it work. So as you can see here, I just took a drill bit and a drill, and I'm just drilling some holes, and I'm going to thread some wire, and then I'm just going to tie it. And you can't really see the wire at all, so it really worked out well, but it took me a long time to figure this out because it was just not staying put. Now the little one, it did stay put and it's still on there and it works well, but for some reason this larger one was giving me a really hard time. Once I had them attached, it's now time to attach them to the actual pumpkin. So I'm just going to place them right on top of that painter sticks, and I am just going to brad nail them with the 1/4 inch brad nails That way it's not going to go through, but it'll be nice and secure. And I did the same thing for the other one, and it worked out really well. So we're back in the garage. Now I have this 1x4, not 1x4, 2x4 that I got at the scrap wood area at the hardware store. And to give it a angled cut so that I can attach this to the back of each pumpkin, and it served me as a stand so that they don't fall backwards. That's the plan. We'll see. So the angles here are not going to be like the best because my camera only goes so high, and this is a very large piece. So as you can see there, that's just how it's going to go. And then I did angled the other side, so the bottom side as well. That way it can be on the floor flush. So I'm just going to find the right angle here and try to use my paint can here to kind of hold the pumpkin in place while I brad nail it into the 2x4. And again, the angle's not the best, but you see what I'm doing. So now I'm just going to grab some jute rope, and I'm going to make a very simple bow just to add a little bit of texture and a little bit of details. And I'm also going to grab these wired berries that I got at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to wrap it around a little bit, tie it and secure it, and then just kind of curl the ends so that way it just adds a little bit of detail. And I did the same thing to the green one, and I think that turned out so cute. All right, so I want to show you what it looks like on the back because I don't know if I got a good shot of how I was doing it. So I did a 22-degree angle cut right there, and then I did a 45-degree angle cut on the tip over there so that it can stand there and then be on here, and then I secured it with brad nails from the front, and I did that on both of them. Alright guys, so I recently got our fence changed up to a new one, and so we now have on the side of the house these panels from our old fence. Isn't it like a light just shined? These are awesome. So the goal is to remove, for today, 2 of them, because I want to make a welcome porch sign literally the length of the boards, and taking 2 of them. So let's see if I can take them out. So this took me a little longer than I was expecting. My husband had to come and help me because these panels were heavy, and so I just wanted to be safe. But basically all it took was just some tools, and I did actually take off more than just 2. Now I have them ready in my garage for any future projects, but I am going to keep those panels on the side of the house and use them as the time comes, you know, as I need them. So removing all the old nails to make sure they're safe, and here's what I got ready. I'm going to take them to my garage, and then I'm going to sand them. I'm going to take 2 of them and I'm going to sand them down to clean it up and just smoothen off, and they're just so rustic and kind of love it, but to work with it could be a little rough, so sanding them down really worked. So then I'm just going to line them up the way I want them, side by side. I'm going to take these leftover scrap pieces of painter sticks. These are the larger 25-gallon ones. I use them for other projects, and I keep the ends, and I'm just going to use them and brad nail them to the back. That way they are secure. Using my Cricut, I cut out the phrase home, replacing the O with a leaf. These are massive letters because, as I mentioned in the beginning, these 3 DIYs are really large. They're very sturdy, large pieces. So all these letters are going to be very large. So after I weed them down, I did go into the kitchen because that was a larger area that I had to put the panels there. So I'm going to start applying the decals. And while I'm doing that, I want to tell you that this video, I am teaming up with Devin from Freckled Mom DIY. If you do not know who she is, I sure hope you go visit her channel after you're done with this video. She is so fun to watch and so creative. She invited me to co-host her monthly challenge, room by room, where it's an open playlist and we get to bring you into different rooms. Like today, I am bringing you into my front porch and DIYs that I'm making for my front porch for fall. And because it's an open playlist, you're going to find so many talented ladies that have done the same thing and maybe bring you into different rooms of their homes. So I am going to have both Devin's as well as the playlist links linked down below in the description box. All right, so here we are. All the decals are in place. Now I'm just going to stencil them using Rust-Oleum chalk pen. No, not Rust-Oleum chalk pen. Using regular household paint in latex. This is exterior paint because, again, it's going to be out on my porch. And the leaf I am going to paint in a bright yellow, and it is also an exterior paint. And we are done with this one. This sign is massive. It is so tall. It's 62 inches. Actually, no, it's 72 inches tall. I love it. It's so sturdy, so heavy duty, and it looks great on my porch. Now, today I'm going to show you a staged photo here, but at the end, I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek at what it looks like on my porch. But I am going to invite you to visit my home channel, and on Saturday, I am going to be posting the video on how I decorated and updated my front porch. So check it out. I do have my home channel linked down below. All right, for this next DIY, I'm going to take 3 of these Dollar Tree wreath forms. 2 of them are similar in size, and then the other one is a little bit larger, even though they're supposed to all be around the same size. But it worked out really well for what I'm making here. We are going to make a pumpkin here. So it's going to be a pumpkin wreath form. So I'm going to take the 2 smaller ones. I'm going to join them together using hot glue as well as jute twine. Now, if you saw me there a little bit ago, I made a little loop at the end of the jute twine. You're going to see me doing that here a lot. It's a little trick that I use, like a little hack, to make things really tight and secure. And that way you can just loop it right inside of it on the little loop and then just pull and tighten as much as possible and then either hot glue or knot it onto the jute twine. It works really well. And I'm going to do the same thing here as I add my large wreath form right on top. You're going to start seeing kind of like how the pumpkin's going to look. I'm going to grab 4 of those jute twine strings, loop them at the end, and again, we're just going to add hot glue and then tie them with the jute twine so everything's very tight. Remember, this is going to all be on my front porch, so it's going to be exposed to the elements, wind, rain, and I just want to make sure that it's not going to fall apart on me. So between hot glue as well as some really tight jute twine, everything is going to be nice and secure. This is a piece of driftwood that I got outside, I think. It was in my garage. I honestly don't know where it came from, but I loved it. So I'm just going to place it right underneath there on top. This is going to be the stem of my pumpkin wreath. And again, with hot glue and some jute string, I am going to tie it extremely tight because this is where it's going to hang from. So I want to make sure it's going to be secure. So not only am I going to tie it on the top there, but I'm also going to tie it right on the bottom of the driftwood and then just crisscross it all around. You're not going to be able to see this part anyways because we're going to add some flowers, but I just want it again to be very secure and not go anywhere. I'm going to take some Dollar Tree foam or floral foam and I'm just going to cut off about an inch thick square here and I'm going to hot glue it quite a bit right onto that center portion, and I'm also going to tie it with jute twine, once again using that little loop trick that I showed you earlier, just to make sure it's nice and tight and not going anywhere. Once I have that in place, it's time to start adding some florals. These are a combination of Dollar Tree, let's see, Target, Dollar Spot, and Hobby Lobby flowers. So I'm just going to start showing you here what I'm doing. I'll speed it up here and there just to kind of, I don't want to bore you with all this, but I do want to show you kind of how I put it together because I know a lot of you are not as experienced with floral arrangements or making wreaths, so I think this will be very helpful. So I'm just going to cut and just keep adding florals and as I see fit. Once I add the all-around picks, so these are just a combination of like grassy picks as well as cattails. Once I have that, then I decided to add the main flower, which is a Hobby Lobby hydrangea, and it's in this kind of like a burnt yellow color. I think it's stunning. And I'm just going to place it right in the front. And now we're going to start filling it in with some of this Dollar Tree florals and cutting little picks off of the main pick and then just adding them all around the main flower. I'm also going to add some of these little pine cones from Dollar Tree picks. Again, I'm just adding here and there what I see fit and what I like to the eye, what I want, kind of what my vision is for this wreath. I did decide to trim a little bit the grassy ones because they were just a little too wild. A little too long for what I was liking. So I just trimmed it a little bit. Now I'm going to take this Dollar Tree ribbon. I'm going to make a very simple double loop bow and secure it and tie it in the middle with some jute twine. And it's going to go kind of like to the right side of the florals, but on the bottom. And I'm going to do two things. I'm going to hot glue it, but I'm also going to take a leftover oh my gosh, stem from a faux pick. It has a wire inside, and I'm going to fold it like a U, and you're going to see that here. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to fold it like a U, and I'm going to use that to pin the bow into the foam. So I'm going to add hot glue, and then I'm going to take that little U that I made with that leftover wired pick, and then again, just tighten it right onto the foam. See how I did that? So that just keeps it in place. It's not going to go anywhere. And that's it for this one. I added more jute twine to the back just to be able to hang the wreath. But look how beautiful and stunning this looks. I am obsessed with this wreath. I think it's so cool. And the fact that I used 3 wreath forms from the Dollar Tree and just some florals that I already had on hand, I just love it. And I'm going to ask you to watch till the end here so you see the little behind the scenes look of me putting my porch together. But again, I'm going to have the video come out this Saturday on my home channel, so make sure you're subscribed to that as well. But this is it for today, my friend. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope it inspires you to create your own home decor all on a budget. If you're visiting for the first time, I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you consider joining our YouTube family. I am going to have a playlist here at the end with tons more fall decor inspiration. Check it out. I'll see you later. And as always, have a blessed day. Bye.